Oh, it's just funny.
Rightio. Big pre-season game against the Crows on Saturday. You feel you've got a lot of work on after the Gold Coast result?
Yeah, definitely. It wasn't the way that we planned to start our 2022 season. Even though it was a practice game, we still expected that we were going to go in and win and play how we'd trained all pre-season, and we were definitely out-hunted and outworked in the first half in particular, and thought things were just going to happen and play the game on our terms, and it definitely didn't work out that way, and we weren't up for the hunt and the fight early on and to scrap it out, and I think that's something we'll definitely work on this week, the contest, being able to hunt teams and stay in it for longer, especially when things aren't going our way early on.
The lingering question of that is why, particularly when you had so much to prove after what happened in the prelim last year. Everyone expected, if anything, the easiest thing would be to switch Port Adelaide on.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's something we're going to have a look at this week, and we think it's a mindset thing that we just didn't rock up in the first half, and that obviously hurt us in the prelim last year, and that's something that we want to get out of our game, and we've looked at it early on this week, and we think it's an intensity and a mindset thing, and we'll be looking to shift that this week, and there's no questions about that.
You say it's a mindset thing, but what do you put that down to if it's happened in the prelim and then it's happened again straight away?
Yeah, we've just got to be better at scrapping it out. I mean, we can't always have the game on our terms and think that we're going to just rock up and it's going to happen. We've got to be able to have that mindset that we're going to go into a game and scrap it out the whole way, and not going in thinking we're going to win by 60 points, but we're actually going to go in and try and win by 1 point. And when the game isn't on our terms, we've got to be able to stay in it. There's no doubt about that. We can't just think that's going to happen or someone else is going to do the work.
Obviously, you got some good news with Scott Lysett and Connor and even Pal Pepper. I guess that's a bit of a relief at this time of year.
Yeah, definitely. I think we were always hopeful that we were going to get through that game unscathed, and I think they just had niggles at the time, and we weren't prepared to take any risk. But it's huge that Sam was obviously in really good form in the first half and actually got us going a little bit. So to have him all clear and is good, and then Scott, like I said, obviously, I think he was going to come out at halfway through the third quarter, but with his ankle, we just didn't take any risks on that.
Dan, do you like a showdown in the summer?
Yeah, it's definitely different being a practice game, but there's definitely no doubt about it that there's a rivalry between us and the Crows, and even if it's a practice game, we want to go in and win, and the rivalry's still there. There's no questions about that. So the boys will definitely have a little bit more intensity this week now that it's a showdown.
Have you actually talked about how you're going to approach it team selection-wise? Is it going to be almost a dress rehearsal with who's available and whatnot?
Yeah, they're definitely a small squad, so I think we took 26 to 28 players last week. This will be down to round one sort of numbers, so 23 people, 24 maybe. So and there'll be a game beforehand, so we'll have to fill a squad in the sample against the Eagles. So we'll be limited numbers this week, which is good. So boys will get a lot more game time, and we'll be able to see what the team might look like in round one.
I realise it is only a practice game, but how concerning is that sort of mindset and performance, given that there's only one more game and 2 more weeks to address it before round one?
Yeah, it's not great, but I wouldn't say it's alarm bells. It's the first game of 2022, and we've still got 6 months until the season wraps up. So it's good that it happened early, and we can work on it and improve it. But it's not what we wanted. So we're going to be working on that and looking to move forward in the coming weeks, and hopefully by round one, that's all gone, and we can just focus on playing footy and our intensity's up.
Do you feel a weight of expectation as players at Port Adelaide this year?
Yeah, a little bit, and we've sort of got to put that aside because our team and what we've done in the past few years has happened, and we've been up there with the other good teams and playing prelims, but this year we started on a level playing field, and we can't let that affect our mindset and how we go about things. It's not just going to happen. So there is a little bit of expectation, but we can only control what we can control. So that's what we'll be looking forward to doing throughout the year.
The way that the last 2 years ended, does it help you feel like you are one of the better teams, or does it hinder? Does it make you feel even more like there's a greater pressure because of how those 2 games ended?
Yeah, a little bit. Neither of them have ended how we've wanted them to end, and we know we've got to improve to go further. And I think the weight of having to always improve has been there, and we've got a really hungry group. We've got lots of young boys coming through who are looking to take their game to the next level, and blokes like Robbie and Boki who at 34 still want to go to the next level as well. So I think there's a lot of fire in the belly, and the boys are hungry. There's no doubt about that. We don't want to drop off and go backwards. We want to keep moving forwards.
We asked Ken about who the improvers might be this year, and you said aside from the young blokes, there's a group of boys in the middle, like where you're at and where Birdo's at. Where do you think that you improved this year?
Personally?
Yep.
Yeah, so I think I'm probably going to try and move up the ground this year. I think I've tried to do that in the past few years, but I definitely want to settle into a wing role or into the midfield, and I think that I can bring the ball use up the ground into my game and into the team's game and help us score a little bit more and give the forwards a bit more delivery. And I think Ryan Burton and Riley Bonner are going to do the same, and I think we can have a mix of us throughout the team at half back and higher up the ground to help us move the ball nicely into the forward line.
Does that suit you better, being higher up the ground, personally?
Yeah, I think I feel like I can play back and wing, and a bit more offense on the wing which I bring to the game, playing up there, which I'm looking forward to doing and trialling that in the pre-season games to see how it goes.
Is locking down one spot going to be the key for you to be consistent across the whole season?
No, I don't think so. I think over the past few years I've always been flung around a little bit, half back, inside, outside, and for me I've got to be able to switch my mindset to be able to play multiple roles and play that consistently, because that's part of my game that I bring to the team, is being able to play multiple roles. If I can do that and do it well, that it definitely improves the team.
Do you Zach and Connor get together and say, one of us needs to step up and start supporting in the midfield, or is it more a competition that one of you want to take that place? So you're competing against each other to supplement the midfield, or are you working together to?
Yeah, definitely working together. We know we bring different things. Butsy's flair and his energy through the midfield, and Connor's up forward, his speed, he can break lines, and I feel like I can complement that on the outside. So we definitely work together, and we know that there are different positions up available, and we're all working hard to make the best out of what we can do.
You're an inside midfielder started last season, I reckon. A lot of outside talk now. Do you sort of feel like that's more where you're going to settle?
Not necessarily. I think I just play where I get told to play and try my best to learn that role and play that role as well as possible. And I'm happy to go back inside if I need to, play half forward if I need to, or half back. I'm not necessarily set, and the team will change with injuries and form in that, and I'm happy just to play wherever best fits for the team.
How much did the shoulder hold you back last year, and are you sort of fully over that now, you reckon?
Yeah, a little bit. I struggled to train during the week and was getting up for games purely based off no training, and I sort of struggled a little bit because I couldn't get that continuity during the week at training and in the gym and get my body right. So it definitely impacted me, and then it was hard to sort of get that momentum back towards the end of the year. And it doesn't affect me anymore. So got through pre-season fine, and it's all over, so which is good.
There were moments last year with that where it's like, a 50-50 tackle or a 50-50 ball or something, and I don't know if you could say that you backed out of it or you hit it less than you would have because you knew it was going to hurt. Did you have any even thoughts of that anyway?
Yeah, it definitely held me back mentally. I think I couldn't train at stages, and I was running and just getting up for the game, and it's hard to back yourself in when you haven't actually done the work. So yeah, it did hold me back a little bit. But once I was out there, I was playing 100%. I was going at everything 100%, but it was definitely in the back of my mind that I haven't done the work during the week, and it's going to be hard to play.
I guess you have a jab or something. Can you explain to people who don't know what's it like sort of playing with a part of your body that you can't really feel all too well?
It's actually not too bad because it's just a joint, but it is a weird feeling when you're struggling to sleep on it and then struggling to train, and then suddenly it's all good and you've got to erase it from your mind. So that's probably the hardest part.
Just on the mental stuff, I guess we saw a team like Melbourne have gone on to win a premiership now, but a few years ago got smashed in a prelim and took a couple of years to get back to their best. What have you done to sort of safeguard against a similar sort of disaster this season from a mental space?
Yeah, well, we've mixed a few things up. So obviously the coaches have had a bit of a reshuffle. We've put a few young boys around the ball, and like Zach and Connor, and we've also identified that a stoppage and contested ball is one area that when we lose pretty heavily, and so we've adjusted our stoppage stuff and improved our contested work to make sure that we aren't going to win contested ball every single game, but can we minimise that and still win? So that's something we've definitely worked on, and to take us to the next level, so that we're still pushing to go one step further.
Let's check on Charlie Dixon. Do you know if he's started running yet, or what's he?
Yeah, so Charlie ran on Friday, and he's in the frame to play round 1, but we won't be taking any risks on him. We'll look to see how he improves, and he's a week by week thing at the moment, but looking to play round 1 at this stage. Yep.